A reported tornado in Stanislaus County. We're live on the scene with pictures and video of the damage.
It's been quite an active Sunday with this cold front pushing through. Most of that now on the eastern side of the state. We're not quite done yet with the rain and snow.
This is ABC 10 News at 5.
Oh, a busy weather day all throughout our area. We had rain in the valley this morning and a day full of snow in the Sierra.
And this afternoon, a few strong storm cells, including one in the Turlock area with a reported tornado.
Let's get over to our chief meteorologist, Monica Woods, in the Weather Center to see what the storm system is doing right now. Monica?
It is starting to quiet down ever so slightly at this hour. The coldest air is still marching its way eastward, and that's where most of the active weather has been through much of the late afternoon. Even at this hour, just south of Murphy's, you're looking at an area of rain and some heavy rain at times that was producing some lightning just about a half hour ago. As far as that snow level, it has been dropping steadily. Still expected to be about 3,000 to 4,000 feet, but you can see there's not a lot of accumulation at that elevation. Arnold, we're getting in on some of that snow right now along Highway 4 and along Highway 88. It's dropping as well as along Highway 108. So the cold air definitely making its presence known this afternoon with numerous lightning strikes popping up throughout the valley. Some of it was quite active. There's that storm cell right there south of Modesto that produced the potential tornado. It's unconfirmed right now, but that's the area real near Denair. About 1:45 is when we had that report of the tornado. And numerous hail reports, as you can see, throughout the foothills this afternoon. Rudy Manzo sending this in from Groveland. You can see it's piling up like snow in the foothills. It has been absolutely amazing. We got even more pictures on Facebook and Twitter. All right, well, we're still following those showers as they're starting to exit the region. Still a few snow showers left over, though. And so our winter storm warning continues until 10 p.m. An update on this cold air moving in with this storm.
Back to our weather, they're a little bit more serious out here. Monica is in joining us here on the weekend because we were seeing some tornadoes today.
That's right. We had one tornado possibly near the Denair area. All of that quieting down right now, but we still have that line of showers pushing its way eastward and a few lightning strikes popping up around Arnold and Sonora, where we've already seen areas of hail in Sonora piling up like snow. A little bit farther to the south, just off to the south of Yosemite, still seeing that line producing some active weather with some lightning strikes. But again, all of the biggest weather is moving its way east. Behind it, we will see some rapid clearing. A little bit of wind, though, developing with that. But the cold air moved in, and it brought the active weather as well as a big drop in temperatures. We're down about 5 degrees from where we were yesterday at this time. About a 15 to 20 degree drop for the foothills and Sierra. And the snow was piling up at about 3 to 4 inches here for the Heavenly Snow Stake. Very similar for Kirkwood. About 3 to 4 inches of new snow as well as at North Star. So the Snow Stake looking good. And many of those resorts opening, you know, everybody was thinking, wow, we're getting fresh powder and an early opening date. Temperatures right now in the 50s throughout the valley, 29 degrees for South Lake Tahoe. As far as the precipitation today, anywhere from about 1/10 of an inch in the northern San Joaquin Valley, closer to about 1/4 of an inch to almost 1/2 an inch for areas around the foothills. Now tonight, again, we will see rapid clearing behind that cold front. We're down to 43 degrees to start us off early in the day. All of the rain and snow pretty much ending after the time we get to midnight, and then we're setting ourselves up with those tight isobars. These are these lines right here packed tightly together. So breezy conditions ahead for tomorrow through much of the day. It's going to back off, and then we're in for a dry stretch, which I actually think shapes up pretty nicely considering that we're getting very close to that Thanksgiving week. Next week, lots of travel happening this weekend. All right, temperatures tonight will fall into the teens for the Tahoe Basin, highs in the 30s. 55 for Ione. We had snow at Pollock Pines today. Tomorrow's high 44 degrees, and then a dry stretch continues for the 5-day planner. Variable clouds and temperatures warming out of the 30s after tomorrow, and we're back to about 50 by midweek. For San Francisco, tomorrow we'll see a high of 61, variable clouds, northwest winds 10 to 20 miles per hour. And those northwest winds really help to dry things out. It will be breezy, very dry. You know how it feels when your hands get kind of cracked and lips as well. That's what we're going to be dealing with for tomorrow. 50s for our highs, though. That cold air mass stays in place, and it's going to have an impact. Temperatures in some areas will be in the 30s tomorrow morning. Wow. Yeah. And then our 10-day planner, it is dry. Occasionally we'll see some breezy conditions, but overall, like I said, next weekend, big travel weekend for folks as they head into that Thanksgiving week, and it looks dry right now, which is good for travel.
This is the second time this week we've seen severe weather here in the Central Valley. Is that unusual for this time of year?
Not necessarily. These cold systems, they can really be unstable, and especially if we get a little daytime heating, things pop real quickly.
Wow.
In lows in the 30s. Whew, that'll be chilly.
Oh, hello.
Thanks, Monica.
And the latest tonight at 11. Dale and Christina. Back to you.
All right, Tim, thanks. So from Tim and Dave, we got a good look at the fire on the ground and even Sky 10. Monica has a different perspective that shows just how not just big this thing is, but how far the smoke is traveling.
And it really speaks to how erratic those winds are, because the smoke is really moving its way northward into the foothills. This is our live picture in Placerville. Look at this. This is all smoke. It looks so hazy. It looks like fog, but this is 45 miles from where that fire is burning. We're hearing from folks that are in Colfax that are seeing smoke. 75 miles from Jackson, also in Folsom, down the hill just a tad. Now here's a look at our HD Doppler, and what we're seeing is the smoke plume, all that particulate matter from earlier today. It is starting to kind of flatten out ever so slightly, but expanding the view, you can see that smoke and how it's pushing its way northward along Highway 50 and even farther up towards I-80. Again, smoke is going to be pretty persistent until they get a better wrap on that fire. As far as the terrain, both Tim and Dave mentioning how rugged it is. Here is a look at the topography, and it shows you the canyons right through that stretch there. That is the McCollum River. It moved its way south, as Tim was mentioning, last night, and so that's made it very difficult for firefighters. I know the incident meteorologist there has to have his hands full right now. 90s right now, temperatures are starting to cool. What we'll see tonight is those winds starting to back off and that fire kind of laying into the canyons. Now, what I'm showing you right now is kind of the perimeter of what we had earlier. We're going to compare that to what we see tonight, and I have a feeling this perimeter is just almost going to be double based on what they're seeing there on the fire line. So we'll have that comparison, as well as a look at those cooling temperatures. That's going to help a lot come this weekend.
Boy, we are talking about this heat outside and the effect it's having on firefighters and the firefighting efforts, and hopefully we got a cool down coming up soon.
We're going to have to wait till the weekend, but it is on the way. Now you can see from our live picture in Sacramento, hazy skies. It's a mix of cirrus clouds that we had earlier today, as well as some of that smoke pushing its way northward from that Butte fire. Okay, here's a look at those readings right now. 104 degrees for Sacramento, 102 for Stockton. We're at 104 still for Modesto, Marysville 103, South Lake Tahoe at 78. As far as our temperature change, pretty consistent with where we were yesterday, but areas that are seeing some smoke down just a tad. We just don't have as much sunlight to warm those conditions and keep us very toasty for today. As far as those afternoon highs, well, they were another record setter for Sacramento, Stockton, and Modesto, getting in on those records for today. 100s throughout the valley, extending all the way to Fairfield. This is a view from West Point. Now, Teresa, one of our weather watchers, I asked her how she's doing. She's very close to the fire. She said the community is really coming together. We're here for each other. We've had no electricity since late yesterday afternoon. Also heard from my weather watcher Marty in Pioneer, and he was also saying the same thing, just kind of doing the best that they can right now given the conditions and just trying to stay out of harm's way. Dave was mentioning those folks that are trying to get out of there, and it's a tough one for folks. It's really windy and trying to find your path through all that smoke. 90s for West Point and Pioneer for today. Roseville up to 105. Our next 12 hours, we're going to cool into the 60s, but it will be another warm start to the day, giving us a bit of a jump start on those afternoon highs for Friday. Air alert remains in effect for the northern San Joaquin Valley. Unhealthy for sensitive groups, that air quality again, that's for ozone. Under this ridge of high pressure, not a lot of air movement here. It peaks for tomorrow with temperatures still in the 100s, and then we start to see those conditions cool as our low develops off the coast. A hint of a delta breeze coming in, as well as the potential for some thunderstorms to develop in the Sierra. Highs in the 80s tomorrow for the Sierra. We're in the 100s for Ione, Jackson, Placerville, and Auburn. 5-day forecast showing that chance for thunderstorms Sunday and Monday. Highs will drop to the 60s by next Tuesday. Along the coast, we're already seeing the drop in temperatures with highs near 80 for San Francisco, still near 100 for Gilroy and Folsom, and we'll have one more 100-degree day throughout the valley with those northwest winds at about 10 miles per hour. Nice pattern change here, though, into the 90s by the weekend, and Christine and Dale, we're in the 80s by next week.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man,
Nice.
that'll be a nice break.